Speedrunning, at its core, is about completing a game, or some objective within it, in the shortest amount of time as possible. Usually this comes in the form of any percent runs, where the goal is to finish the game by any means necessary, or 100% runs, where every in-game objective needs to be completed. In Mario Galaxy speedrunning though, there's a category that's unlike any of these, the speedrun, where you do absolutely nothing. Now, if you're familiar with Zelda speedrunning, you might be thinking of something like the pandemic-era Twilight Princess run, low percent, where after collecting a rupee, Link would stand in the same spot for somewhere around 17 hours straight. But what I'm talking about today is the complete opposite of that. In fact, the run is only just over a minute long. It's completely pointless, and in it you accomplish absolutely nothing at all. The run, of course, I'm referring to is Enter All Domed. The objective is what it sounds like. You have to enter all 6 domes in the Comet Observatory as fast as you can. Aside from that, anything goes. And despite being one of the most inconsequential categories, it actually has an insane amount of awesome tricks and tech jammed into only about a minute. In preparation for the run, we need to have all the domes unlocked ahead of time, obviously, and the save file has to be on as Luigi, because Luigi is just better, having a higher jump height and a higher state of being. And then we connect a second controller, so we can play in co-star mode. And as soon as we load our save, the timer begins. The run starts off pretty straightforward, with Galaxy speedrunners' bread and butter, long jump spam. Long jumps are obviously the go-to in most cases, being the fastest intended method of movement, but on the topic of jump speed, I want to use this as a quick chance to introduce target speeds. For most of Luigi or Mario's player states, the game gives each one a hard-coded baseline target speed. So when Luigi's in a full run, the game does its best to bring him to his run target speed, which is 15. And on any given frame, if his current speed exceeds the target, he'll be decelerated down to 15. In the case of a long jump though, there isn't actually a speed target, at least not that I could find. An initial forward velocity, we'll say 16.5, is applied to Luigi. And assuming you hold the control stick in the direction he's headed, he'll continue to pick up speed until frame 30, after which point his speed starts to decay at about 1% every frame. Here I've modded in a velocity visualizer to see the exact values. You can see his run caps off at about 15. During a long jump though, it starts off at 16.5, grows up until about 23, then the decay kicks in on frame 30 and he slows down. Now there's way faster movement tricks in Galaxy we could talk about, but for now we got a run to get to. So, Luigi heads straight for the terrace with his long jump flurry, and of course as soon as he enters, he jumps right back out the way he came. As he does his best Star Bunny impression over to the fountain, he skips the usual warp pad entirely, and we get to see our first co-star jump. For the unaffiliated, co-star mode lets us send Luigi into a super jump if player 2 presses A at a specific moment. In this case, right at the start of a homing ground pound. Now, Luigi can easily make it up there with a simple triple jump in one-player mode, but super jump saves us just a little bit of time it would take to spin, and lets us get there with long jump speed. And again, as soon as Luigi enters the fountain, he immediately single-hop jumps and drifts back out the door. The bedroom is right next to him at this point, so after a long jump over the gap, he's almost already there. But you'll notice as he exits this dome, he does a backflip. You have to jump out of the dome somehow, because turning around grounded is a huge time sink. And if we compare him, you can see just how much the difference is, which is why up to this point he's been avoiding the turnaround entirely. But because the bedroom has this absolute unit of a door, we get to do a backflip instead of just a single hop, which saves another precious fraction of a second. After leaving the bedroom, he heads to the top of the observatory. Since we're right by the red star anyway, the fastest route is just to fly up to the garden, and then drop down to the last 2 domes. So, with a co-star jump, Luigi grabs the red star from the bedroom's roof. Then it's straight to business with one of the craziest bits of tech in the game. This is what it normally looks like when you grab the red star and try to fly upwards. You can see Luigi really just maxes out at about 18. But there is a trick to get around this. We'll call it the red star hyperspeed exploit. These are 2 clips of the vanilla behavior and the exploit for comparison. The one using the exploit is clearly faster. But what exactly is even going on here? Of course it has something to do with mashing A, but when I mash A when I'm playing, I don't get any speed at all. This is the relevant code. It comes in 3 parts. We got holding A, premature release, and mature release. This all looks complicated, but the only thing we need to focus on here is this variable, AC. When in the red star flying state, for every frame we hold the A button, AC increments by 1, meaning AC is typically used to represent the amount of frames we've been holding down A. Additionally, each frame of holding takes about 10% away from Luigi's speed. The value of AC tells the rest of the code which outcome to take when the A button is eventually released. If the A button is released and AC is less than 8, we take the premature release outcome, where AC is set to 0, and everything proceeds as normal. But if AC is greater than or equal to 8, so if we held the A button past 2/15 of a second, we go to the mature release, and 3 main things happen. First, AC is capped to 20, so any greater AC value is just treated as a 20. Second, the speed multiplier is set to 1.2. And third, the speed target multiplier is set to 2. And under this condition, if we say our base flying speed is 18, the speed target when we release A would be set to double that, 36. Meaning, until we exceed 36 speed, our speed will be multiplied by 1.2. So what slows us down then? Well, that pesky AC dropping below 8. The moment it drops below 8, it's slammed down to 0, and our target speed loses its 2x multiplier, making it the default 18. In this case, we can kind of think of the target as a soft cap on our flying speed, and every frame we overshoot the target, we lose 2% of our speed. So then, in this speedrun, we don't want Luigi to prematurely release, and we don't want that AC ever dropping below 8. So what's the right way to do this then? Well, I couldn't find exactly who discovered this glitch, but I did find a breakdown from a familiar face. It's Pablo Diaz? Hit Mario speedrunner and winner of the game show Pasapalabra? Pablo figured out a consistent way to pull this off is by mashing to the tempo of I'm a Believer by Smash Mouth, which is pretty effective. The key here though is to keep AC between 20 and 8, not overcharging past 20, and most importantly, not letting it drop below 8. And this is exactly what the Enter All Domes world record holder Cubic3107 does in their run, so effortlessly. And so Luigi soars to the garden entrance at Mach speeds, and just like before, a backflip exit. We're to the final stretch. One long jump to the side, directly above the entrance to the engine, and in order to get down quickly enough, Luigi needs to get out of this long jump state. And the only way to accomplish this effectively is with a frame-perfect combo of a spin and a ground pound at the same time. And he gets it. Walks into the engine, and backflips out. Gotta love those high doorways. But from there, it's just a peaceful journey over to the kitchen. Another co-star jump is needed to get up here, clipping the edge so as to ground himself quickly, not waste time in the air. And once he's in, the screen fades to black. And that's a wrap. Now, some would call this a meme category. The community is divided on whether this run is actually worth anything. But personally, I think it's kinda awesome. I wouldn't want to try it out myself though. The current record is insanely tight. What you saw in this video was a tool-assisted run I threw together for the sake of having HD footage. Even with frame advance and all the same strategies, I was still a few seconds slower than Cubic's run. That's how tight it is. So yeah, thank you for watching this breakdown of the most useless Mario Galaxy speedrun.